I must possibly should do first of all take issue with what we mean by universal intelligence. In the universe of uncertainty, it's anything but universal. Beings, persons, intelligence varies enormously. Their understanding and conception of what is true and so on. In terms of the universe of universes, all things at all times, in all places, all ways, universal intelligence is the equivalent of saying the divine. Divine intelligence. Hasn't it ever been our notion that the only one that does know all is God? If such a one exists. Now, we're not foolishly thinking that universal intelligence can ever be achieved in this universe of uncertainty, packed with individuals, persons if you like, of limited maturity, spiritually speaking. And to achieve such a state where we did have universal intelligence in that sense would mean we translated this universe into heaven. In fact, into the universe of universes, in some sense. If, on the other hand, we mean by universal intelligence that which is truly so, that sounds very close to talking about God. For he is our, or that makes him God in some sense. Not quite, because I would take issue with intelligence, distinction between intelligence and love. But granting that particular issue, if we're talking about divine intelligence, true, valid, universally so, we're talking about an aspect of the divine. So we might just as well recognize it and say, divine intelligence. And somehow that makes it slightly more tractable in that, well, this is something that is of God. And would explain, in a sense, what God is doing. If we could understand it, if we had the divine intelligence, which we don't have, we're children, aren't we? And he doesn't need it to be explained to him because he knows already. I think I've lost my way. Let me go back to the beginning. It crosses my mind that I should abandon this particular discourse because it's self-evidently intractable, isn't it? You would need universal intelligence or divine understanding or the mind of God, whatever you like to call it, to handle it. Well, given my inclination and desire to see God as Heavenly Father and to trust that he exists, though there's no way I can prove it, in a world of uncertainty. Nor do I feel I've proved it. I've just become very clear that that's what I value. I'm astonished because, well, I wouldn't have touched the issue as a secular person, as a humanist, and as a philosopher. And then at the age of 24, I suddenly realized I wanted to trust in God. And I was astonished. Absolutely, beautifully amazed. I was ecstatic. I was flying. It was springtime. It was campus at university. I was on my own. I had all the time in the world because I'd packed up doing an MA, ran out of cash, and was waiting to do a nice caring job locally, just as a trainee social worker. I actually felt this was my calling, just to help ordinary people. I was filled with joy because I was in love. And I've given details of these things elsewhere, so I won't go into details here. But to say the obvious, if you're going to talk about universal intelligence, well, anything universal, religions have something to say. And therefore, theosophy of all studies is well positioned to seek out what the religious answers are. And this particular recording that's following, this one, is one I've taken from a meeting, international type meeting of the Theosophical Society. And it addresses the question of universal intelligence from a person who is well studied in religion. And although he didn't say so, I certainly felt that the topic handled from that perspective is the topic of divine intelligence. Now, whether you find that an alien concept will depend on what your spiritual persuasions are. But from the purpose of these recordings, looking at it from the point of view of religions, or rather studying the point of view of religions on this topic, it's as well to think of it in terms of divine intelligence. Because the understanding, such as it is obviously coming from that perspective. Of the existence of the divine, God, if you like. Heavenly Father, however you've labelled the divine, traditional view was, if you really can't conceive of the divine at all, well, you worship the messenger, the avatar, the guru, Jesus, Krishna, or the Buddha. If you do feel, on the other hand, you can handle the unmanifest, then you do. In the modern, Western, secularized world, we seek out some compromise, intellectually speaking, like universal intelligence, without reference to the owner or personifier of such. Well, I'll settle for divine intelligence, because the spirit of the matter is indeed the unmanifest. What the speaker in this recording that I've given next here refers to as the that, not the this that we can handle, touch, see, smell, hold, look at, hear, but the that which is, I'm almost going to say, beyond comprehension. And I think that is probably nearer to it. Not just beyond senses, but beyond our comprehension. What religion has always said can only be approached by faith, by trust, powered by hope and desire for, longing for. So, divine intelligence. Okay? Thank you, Dad.